To make our projects laser focused on mission, Hope Channel International created a concept called Mission Passport. Conceived based on the success of Hope Channel Ukraine, before Hope Channel International begins any production and distribution, every project goes through a thoughtful process of research to make sure we will reach non-Adventist audience. And the project will efficiently serve the growth of God's kingdom. Hi, my name is Philip Matthew, and I serve in the Analytics and Innovation Department at Hope Channel International, Inc. In this presentation, I will be talking to you about Mission Passport, a tool to stay focused on mission. Mission Passport is a beta development and will be made available as a service for all media initiatives at Hope Channel International and the Global Church. Matthew 28:19 and Revelation 14:15 is the launching point for the Global Church's strategic vision, I Will Go. As a media evangelistic arm of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Hope Channel International focuses our messaging to reach non-Adventists. We intend to be laser focused on meeting the needs of this audience. To help with this process, we developed a tool called Mission Passport. This presentation is designed for those who are already involved in media and for those who are intentionally seeking to grow their media ministry for missions. If you choose not to pay attention to anything else in this presentation, please pay attention to the next 2 minutes. The goal of Mission Passport is to have a solid exercise with creators to critically think about their ideas and to help creators develop their ideas to reach a focused viewer segment, frame a clear go-to-market strategy, and with a clearly addressable audience within that target market. Mission Passport is like fishing. Jesus told Andrew and Peter, "I will make you fishers of men." If you were to go fishing, you would want to know what fish you're attempting to catch, in what waters, a river, a pond, an ocean, and do we have the right tools for the right context, a boat that can catch the right fish. This is the principal development around Mission Passport. Now, for those of you who are really interested in understanding the in-depth tool of Mission Passport, meet Mary. Mary is a single mother of 3 who is in her mid-30s living in Alabama, making slightly below industry average salary of $30,000 per year. She has some level of college education, works as a retail manager for a large grocery store. She gets all her children ready for school by 7 a.m. and by 8:45 a.m. she needs to be at work. At work, she manages a team of 15 staff daily. She works to ensure that she meets her monthly sales targets. At home, she tries to help her children with homework when she can. Household chores end up taking a lot of her time. Mary believes there is a God, but does not seem to have the time for spiritual nourishment that she longs for. She goes to church at least 2 Sundays a month, wanting to ensure some spiritual beliefs are instilled in her children. She rents her home, never had a landline in her lifetime, has a monthly flat rate plan for her mobile provider, watches videos on a smartphone while watching TV at the same time, and every now and then goes on dating apps. Mary would love to take her children on vacation with her, or maybe even go on a vacation with her girlfriends, but currently life just does not allow that to happen. Meet John. He lives in New York City with his wife and 2 children. He has income-producing assets, works at a major financial firm, makes an annual income of $145,000. He is a homeowner, owns an Audi, eats at California Pizza Kitchen, shops at Crate and Barrel, attends college sports events, flies United Airlines, uses Yelp, listens to adult alternative music. He has a postgraduate degree. During his commute, he listens to various podcasts, which will enhance his communication and conversation during lunchroom conversations. He takes his family on vacation every summer to his summer home in Maine. His wife works part-time and runs an Etsy shop that is fairly successful. His children go to a private school in Manhattan. John has some spiritual inclination based on his childhood upbringing. But city life has taken it over. Faith has become one of his last concerns. You see, Mary and John are two completely different personas. They live in different parts of the country and have very different lifestyle. John represents around 1.8 million households in the United States, and Mary represents approximately 1.5 million households in the United States. Story time. A small story for you. Let me share an insight with you. Here, in mid-2018, Hope Channel launched its online Bible study platform with a traditional approach to media evangelism. In 2020, we began a few experiments to see what can we do to change this approach. Using the principles I'm going to share with you here in Mission Passport, we saw a 7,500% increase in Bible study interest with a 4.3 conversion rate for completing a course. That's 225 times increase in Bible study interests. This is an extremely dramatic blessing and a miracle that God has blessed us with in such a short period of time. If you're interested in how your ministry can use these tools and resources, please consider visiting Pastor Chris Holland's presentation on personal evangelism. And if you're interested in understanding the technology side of things, check out Justin Wood's presentation. So how does the two personas and this one insight that I just shared connect with Mission Passport? Well, they're indirectly connected. The principles and the philosophy of Mission Passport will speak to the opportunities that we have as a ministry to reach non-Adventists. Looking ahead, this presentation is divided into two core areas. First, the principles of Mission Passport. Second, we will show you a preview or a mock demo of what the tool that is in beta development. In this section, I will be talking about the principles of Mission Passport. You may find these principles valuable in your ministry process. I am going to be presenting this in the context of Hope Channel International, but you will very quickly see that your ministry and church may already be doing what you can do in this context, and you can take what applies to your ministry for implementation from these principles. If you have any questions as I'm presenting this, please post them in the chat, or you can email them to me. We would be happy to answer them. Before I dive into the presentations, here are some roles and definition of roles that you should be aware of. First is creator. This is the person or the ideator who creates the idea for a media brand. Producer. This is someone who develops the idea with the creator and relevant stakeholders and sees the project through completion. And the key stakeholders are individuals or organizations that have an input and influence on the development of the distribution on a brand. As we go through the presentations, these roles will play out and make more sense to you. So just listen out for what we have to share. So what is Mission Passport? It is a philosophy, research, documentation, and communication process that is geared towards a brand's mission efficiency here at Hope Channel. Mission Passport is a tool that forces a creator and producers to critically think about their ideas and ask the question why. The idea needs to be documented and developed through the Mission Passport process. The creator and producer must be willing to question and analyze the mission efficiency of the idea. Mission Passport is not a place where an idea is just written down after it's fully conceived. Rather, it needs to be part of the thinking exercise, the self-evaluation of the concept itself. After an idea is wrestled with, we do the research to understand why. We then document who, what, when, and how. Once an idea is fully thought and then developed, it may be then even tested with focus groups. The finalized and approved version of Mission Passport becomes the charter that needs to be strictly followed. In the execution and distribution phases, we track the key performance indicators that were defined in the approved Mission Passport. When the project comes to a close, it will be evaluated based on projections on the approved Mission Passport. Last but not least, Mission Passport is a communication tool. Throughout Mission Passport, we want to avoid any kind of miscommunication that may be there or a lack of communication when key stakeholders of the project are involved. We want all key stakeholders to be involved in the review of the brand and of the brand in the development of it to avoid any challenges in communication. Having all key stakeholders as part of the conversation in the development allows for God to speak through the body and for us to document and see God's leading towards the mission effectiveness and the efficiency of a brand. In this next two sections, I will be covering the guiding philosophical principles and the mission passport process that we utilize here at Hope Channel. As you watch, please prayerfully consider what may be applicable to your ministry. And if you're interested in learning more or joining Hope Channel in our internal beta testing, please visit missionpassport.org and you can sign up for an invite there. The guiding philosophical principles of Mission Passport. The primary philosophical principles of Mission Passport is to focus on measurable mission outcomes for evangelism. Mission Passport is the dynamic tool that informs those decisions. There are three core areas that Mission Passport seeks to distill and crystallize on a project: missiological objectives, content distribution formats, and measurable outcomes. In missiological objectives, we ask the question why, not what. Why do we want to create content? Why do we want to reach a specific audience? Why do we want to speak to them? And in asking the question why, we drive towards a comprehensive set of activities to reach the missiological goals. During this thought exercise, we document, we write down how the brand is being developed. Will it reach a target audience? And will it change something in society and the context of their life today and for eternity? To reach the objectives, we think through and identify a target audience, their pain points, and lastly, research topics that matter to them. The topics that will build an affinity with the audience through different kinds of formats and ways of content distribution. Remember Mary and John, if we were to take a health brand, why would they want to have a health brand? Why would they want to see something about it right now? If Mary and John were target audiences, what content formats would they most likely to engage with? As we prayerfully gain clarity on our why, the who becomes clearer and the how becomes clearer. There's a beautiful quote from Ellen White that talks about a process or a research process of this nature. Christ's method alone will give true success to reaching people. The Savior mingled with men as one who desired their good. He showed his sympathy for them. He ministered to their needs and won their confidence. Then he bade them follow me. Once we understand our why, our who becomes clearer. We ask the question, does our content sympathize with the viewer? Does the content win their confidence? Does it minister to their needs? This brings us to a transition point to our next area, content distribution formats. If we were to complete the exercise of the missiological objectives, we land at a point where we need to define the activities and how we reach the target audience. This is where we seek to be comprehensive with a multi-pronged approach. We explore the possibility of integration in current church activities as part of this comprehensive approach. Using the health brand as an example, will the health brand connect with the viewer and a local church or a local church's health club? If there is a music brand, will it connect with the local church and concerts that they have? If there is a teenager social media brand, will that connect with a Pathfinder club? So on and so forth. We achieve missiological objectives in this comprehensive integrated approach with church activities, not just for creating content for a brand and to fill time. Measurable outcomes. In media ministry, every brand is evaluated and measured in order to get a response. A common underlying question is constantly asked. Is it worth investing in these activities? Although we are convinced that the Holy Spirit plays a crucial role in the salvation of a person, If a brand does not reach its intended audience, it makes no sense to have expectations for mission outcomes from the intended target audience. Through this principle of measurable outcomes, we want to be very transparent about the efficiency of the brand. We acknowledge that God has a million different ways to reach people, but this does not mean we do not use the tools and resources made available to us in this day and age to understand the effectiveness and the measurable outcomes of our existing efforts. When considering measurable outcomes, there are two key areas to consider. One, audience of the brand, and two, the missiological objectives. First, the audience of the brand, a key question we ask here is this: does the brand reach a predefined critical mass? And in most scenarios, we take average data from the market. Using the health brand as an example, we would ask, what is the average audience that is interested in health brands? What needs to be done to ensure that the Mission Passport can meet this critical mass? There are 1.5 million US households that are potentially represented by the persona Mary. What percentage of this audience will the brand that we are intending to work on reach with our available resources? Second, the missiological objectives are predefined by the creator. As mentioned a few minutes ago, we need to clearly understand the why. And then based on the why, we identify key performance indicators that inform stakeholders that the project is moving in the right direction. These KPIs may be predefined based on varying efforts and outcomes. For example, you could have a very narrow target marketing done with an anticipated high engagement and Bible study interests. Or you may have another outcome where there is a large audience of viewers, but a very small number of anticipated engaged viewers that will take the next step. Remember Mary and John, they are the personas that we use to identify a target audience with. When we are looking to develop a brand, the missiological objectives we want to be crystal clear about who we're attempting to reach matters in this context. Then we build out the appropriate media messaging on the appropriate platforms where the message is in the language and in the format that is meaningful to the target audience, like Leaves of Autumn. We want to be in and around the platforms that will bring value to the lives of our target audience. Something to note as part of measurable outcomes is that these measurable outcomes are measured and tracked for a time, and resources that are allocated to the project for a time. It does not mean that God may not use this project to reach souls later after the life cycle of the project. For a period of time that God has given us the resources and the conviction of reaching a target audience, we want to ensure that we are doing our due diligence, putting our best effort in a timely manner, and then allowing God to do the rest. We acknowledge that God may perform miracles and the content may go viral after the life cycle of tracking. But this speaks nothing more than the goodness of God and the ministry of His work. To summarize this section on the guiding philosophy of Mission Passport, we touched on missiological objectives. This is where we ask the question of why. Why do we want to create this message and for whom? Then look at the measurable outcomes for the question on why. What are the key performance indicators that we want to be tracking to know that we are moving in the right direction based on God's conviction on the creators, producers, and key stakeholders? Next, we are going to touch on the guiding principles for Mission Passport as a process. The goal of the Mission Passport process is to have a solid exercise for creators of a brand or a project proposal, and for Hope Channel to critically think about the idea and how the idea will better align with the missional goals and outcomes of Hope Channel International and the Seventh-day Adventist Church. The process goes through 4 overarching stages, which I will enumerate in this section. Creator exercise, internal reviews, development, approvals, and evaluation. So starting with the creator exercise. The creator exercise, in this stage, a project is researched, information is gathered, and pitched to a proposal facilitator at Hope Channel. This stage can also be labeled as a mission passport pitch. Creator and a producer will be doing the research on a target audience to identify a need, what type of content, and the appropriate strategy for distributing the brand with prayerful research. Next stage, we go into internal reviews and feedback. In this stage, the proposal facilitator and a mission passport coach will work with the creator and various stakeholders to mold the proposal further into a comprehensive idea. This stage can also be labeled as mission passport development. Upon internal review completion, a project may be commissioned for a pilot just to understand its viability and feasibility. Once we complete this stage, we go into the approval stage. After a project is developed and there's significant case for its viability, the mission passport proposal is sent to the appropriate decision-making committees for final review and approvals. The creators and producers will defend the project in front of a committee before a final decision is made. Once the project is greenlit, the mission passport proposal is converted to a mission passport charter. The charter is to be followed through completion of the project. Any deviations from the mission passport charter will require an approval from the decision-making committees. This is so that there is a clear level of accountability and clarity to the changing dynamics on a project based on the mission outcomes and the target audience focuses. Lastly, we focus on evaluating the project on an ongoing basis and have 2 key reporting points on Mission Passport. One is at a midpoint and the other one is close or at the close of a Mission Passport season. Mission Passport Charter becomes the official document for evaluating a brand according to the metrics provided by the creator and producer. Depending on the efficiency of the brand, the respective decisions may be taken to continue, discontinue, modify. For example, a TV program that was released may have ongoing KPIs for tracking and evaluations that happens during the season. Or a TikTok brand may have a shorter seasonal cycle, and we may evaluate the key performance indicators to clearly identify that the project is moving in the right direction towards the objectives and key results of the brand. Upon review, and as needed, we then look into ways to how and what we can do to grow the brand, or to maybe pivot the brand. In some instances, we may have to close the brand. So to summarize, the guiding principles on the Mission Passport process, it is a multi-pronged approach that involves all key stakeholders to become part of the idea's research, pitch, and development, production, distribution, and the evaluation of it. The evaluations will not be compared against another brand that is created for a different target audience. Rather, a brand is evaluated against itself over time. Your ministry may have a much simpler approach, or maybe you have a more complex process. Mission Passport is a flexible tool that is an internal beta at Hope Channel International, and we will soon be able to accommodate your ministry's process. So if your ministry or church is interested in becoming part of this internal beta testing group, please visit missionpassport.org and sign up for an invite. We will be inviting groups and cohorts as we develop the tool and seek critical feedback based on various use cases. Now we will transition into the product preview. When Hope Channel International began using Mission Passport, it was primarily using a spreadsheet. We eventually transitioned to a business process management tool, and this became extremely beneficial in optimizing our process and how we need to refine our process for speed, flexibility, and accountability in the long term. We will soon make it available for all ministries that are interested in participating. What you're about to see is an exclusive high-level preview of what is being developed and will be made available to the global church in due course. We will go over the research components, the planning, the development, and the various sections in Mission Passport. When doing your research, we want to be as comprehensive as possible. We do not expect you to use the tool that we are providing or compiled for you. We encourage you to seek the tools that will assist you in developing your brand the best possible with any available tool. What we will provide is just an initial framework to get the ball rolling. Also keep in mind that this area is still in development, and while we acknowledge that there are various commercial tools available, our intent is to build this tool so that it will be available to use for clear missional outcomes of Hope Channel and the global Seventh-day Adventist Church. The research process begins by doing topical research and website analysis. The topical research done to see trends in which people are looking or searching for similar themes around our idea. A website analysis is done so that we can see similar ministries that are performing in similar areas. During this process, we evaluate on how we can better position our message on a similar topic. Our goal here is not to see ourselves or each other as competitors, rather to bring our unique voice that God has given our ministry into the ecosystem of Adventist media content that will assist in winning souls for Christ. Let's take the example of doing search on a topic, how should I study the Bible? We can see the number of questions and the variations thereof people are asking. The average age group, the interest over time. We can see that regions that are showing interest, what resources generally show up as top results for the keywords, and related topics that people search along the topic of how should I study the Bible. In the video section, we can see trends in the videos that are performing well on certain search keywords. This will allow the researcher to see the themes that are emerging for certain topics and how, as media entities, begin framing videos based on interest levels. As we do the research, we want to begin documenting and framing the objectives page of Mission Passport. This is on page 2 of the Mission Passport. We will now transition into showing you the 7 key areas of Mission Passport when you're developing a program. For the purposes of this presentation, I will give you a quick overview of the 7 different sections with an emphasis on section 2 on the objectives page, and I pray that this will help you understand the core principles of Mission Passport. Section 1, Basics. Here we will give the project a working title and a synopsis of what the project idea is. Section 2, Objectives. This is the heart of Mission Passport. The main place in Mission Passport where we want to provoke creators and producers to reevaluate their ideas. Think broader, think deeper on their ideas in the context of the missiological outcomes of the brand, and also thinking about the brand's missiological point of view. We expect producers to reevaluate and share with Hope Channel producers and directors their ideas, why the brand is needed, how it aligns missiologically with the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Questions for the creators and producers to think about in this area is, why is this brand needed in society today? Why will the brand fulfill the mission of the church? What will the brand do for salvation of the people? How will the brand contribute to the growth of the church? How will the brand integrate into ongoing planned initiatives and strategies of the church? At the same time, we want producers to think about the mission and how it needs to be communicated to their audience. At this point, we expect producers to share the concept of their project in a language that can be used by marketing, communication, and promotion as well. Questions for creators and producers to think about are, what words would you use to engage and provoke your audience to take action? What talking points would you want them to hear and be associated with the brand? This exercise will help you better evaluate your project from the point of view of your audience. It should be written in such a way that a marketing team can quickly grab the messaging to put it on various platforms. Creators need to take their time in developing a thoughtful approach. Section 3, formats. At ACI, we intentionally express the works as brands, not shows or programs. The reasoning being is that in the modern media world, boundaries between TV, radio, and digital platforms are no more explicitly separate, as it has been in the past. In order to be efficient producers of content, the audience expects us to communicate with them on a variety of formats that are native to those platforms in an authentic way. Not just having a primary platform and then using all the other platforms as an announcement platform. Hey, I'm here on Facebook, but watch me on TV. That does not work. What needs to be clearly articulated on the formats section of the brand is the brand universe. What formats and platforms will the brand primarily focus on? What is the audience profile of the brand on those platforms? Questions for creators to consider here are, what formats and how many formats should I have in my brand? What is the primary format of my brand? What difference does it make to the audience that I select and have a specific primary format in? Answers to these questions are informed by the mission statement, the brand promise, and the target audience of the brand at large. Section 4, marketing. Once there is clarity on the objectives and the formats for consideration, we can now begin focusing on a comprehensive marketing strategy. And this comprehensive marketing strategy will push towards a net positive impact on the brand at large. There are 3 core activities to consider for marketing: brand awareness, lead generation, and brand loyalty. Brand awareness are the key activities to spreading the word around the brand. This involves organic activities on social media, distributing media kits to news outlets, so on and so forth. Lead generation. These are activities that should initiate quantifiable or qualifiable interest for the brand, whether it be paid ads, targeted ads, print, over the air, both for radio and TV may fall into this category. This is also where collaborations with prominent individuals and relevant ministries would fall. Last is brand loyalty. These activities should focus on developing an engaged relationship between the audience and the brand, both virtual and offline events. Brand merchandising, membership to groups, and other activities which focus on turning an audience from a fan into an ambassador. Section 5 is metrics. A key component of Mission Passport is missional outcomes. Metrics, also known as key performance indicators, are tracked over the life of a Mission Passport season to ensure that the mission is moving in the right direction. Please understand that we do not look at these KPIs as final results of a brand. We are just ensuring that the brand is moving on the right direction based on the efforts and the needed reach within a target audience. We may also see God's leading and Him showing areas for us to reconsider. For example, we may focus on a target audience and its associated numbers, but only to find that the secondary audience may become the main target audience of a brand. They are now engaging much better with the brand. At this point, we may want to reconsider the strategy that's in place in Mission Passport of the brand. Section 6. Budget. Just like any household, there is a clear need to articulate the budget and why we will need that budget. This closely is also related to our next section on timelines. Section 7, timelines. After consulting with stakeholders, vendors, and third-party providers of resources, we develop a comprehensive timeline. The timeline is to ensure that we are moving along in a timely manner, and if there are any deviations, we evaluate and see what about the project gets impacted and what changes need to be done along the way so that we continue to reach the desired mission outcomes. That brings us to the end of our preview. Before I close, I want to summarize the presentation. Mission Passport is a service tool to help us stay focused on mission. It is a tool that helps us understand what type of fish we want to catch in what type of waters with the resources God has given us. We have shared a little bit about the guiding philosophy, which is understanding the why for a brand, before we go into the who, what, when, and how. We shared a little bit about the process that Hope Channel is using and showcase an exclusive preview to you. If you're interested in becoming part of our beta testers, please sign up at missionpassport.org. At this point in time, I will now open the time for questions. If you have questions, please enter them in the comment box, and we will take our time to answer them.